Hello, welcome to another great episode of Royal Black and Elite. I'm Lady TrenettWilson, your lecturer and social historian. Thanks so much for spending some time with me today. Now, did you all ever see the movie The Butler? It was released on August the 16th, 2013. Forrest Whitaker was the star in it, and was in that movie as well. Well, the story was loosely based about a man named Eugene Allen, who was a butler for many years inside of the White House. But Eugene Allen is actually not the longest serving butler at the White House. And this butler was actually the chief over all the other butlers. So I thought it'd be really wonderful to talk about a man who served in the White House for over 21 years and give you a look a little bit behind the scenes around butlers and domestic work back in those days, because a lot of people don't like that we were butlers. But let me just tell you, it opened many doors. And his name was Alonzo Fields. I want to thank everyone for joining me. Hello, Roilers. Thank you all so much. Don't forget to hit that like, share, and subscribe. I really thank you all. Y'all have been doing all of that. So I just truly appreciate it. And if this is the first time you're here, hello, welcome. I hope you learn a lot about our Royal Black and Elite history. And I know that some people may think, oh my goodness, how can being a butler, look how beautiful, could be Royal Black and Elite? But these men were placed in proximity of power. And did you know butlers make upwards of $250,000 a year? And if you work in London and stuff, it's even more than that. So these people are not broke. I think it's the stigma around, being a servant. And if you remember in The Butler, in the movie about Eugene Allen's son, I think this is one of the reasons that this movie was the one that they actually covered when his son began to go through the civil rights era, and it was, not thought of. It wasn't a flex to be a domestic worker. And so we saw the real inner turmoil with he and his dad and his family, because his dad felt like, hey, this is a good job. It paid the bills. I don't have to, work at a factory. I come home clean every day. I get to meet all of the most famous people in the world. So I don't think he had a complaint. So that is how the differences are and the thinking around it. But the money is definitely there. I've even been to a Butler School. I am an etiquette consultant and expert, and I have a number one best-selling Amazon etiquette book. And one thing that we learned is going in and learning how to serve others. And I think that's really what being a great butler or being a great etiquette consultant, all of that kind of stuff, is being a great a person who really loves serving others. And I really do. I love telling these stories here on Royal Black and Elite. As I don't get paid for this. And I had just now gotten monetized not long ago, but that goes up and down. So you can't depend on that. But what I do depend on is you all liking, sharing, subscribing. Y'all been showing up so big. And it's really because of you that I get to tell these stories. And so this is what, these people did for a living. They create this beauty. That's what I do. To be a protocol officer for the White House is really, really something big. That means you are at the highest level of everything when it comes to presentation. So luxury and all of that. You have to learn so much in order to work in this atmosphere. You have to know about house management. You have to know about luxury dining, chauffeur, duties of the security, and all of these. And they actually, again, go to Butler's Academy in order to learn how to do this. And I'm giving you some inside looks of it. Now, Mr. Fields, he wrote a book. And so this is where most of his information has come from, my 21 years in the White House. Now, serving Presidents Hoover, Roosevelt, Truman, and Eisenhower. This man was in the White House for 21 years. He was elevated to chief of White House butlers after only 1 year, and he stayed there for 20 years. Now, that's Mr. Eugene. I've gotten I have my pictures. They're different ones, people serving in the White House, because they literally only had two pictures of Alonzo Fields. Now, and so I'm also giving you some of the interior, some of the history of the White House, so you can see where they took care of and where they would come in and meet the first lady or the president. So this is President Barack Obama's private living quarters. So this is in the chic. Go ahead, Barack, the President Obama. So throughout the history, they look, they would decorate differently. Now, Alonzo was born on April the 10th, 1900, in Lyles Station, Indiana. Now, his father owned the local general store, and he also directed a band. It was an all black jazz band. And actually, Alonzo loved to sing, and we'll see that come in later on as well. Now, he later worked for the post office, his father did, and he also was a janitor in D.C. And this really opened the door also for Alonzo to get the job that he got. Now, his mother ran a boarding house. So he probably learned perfection from her, because if you're selling something and people are living there, you're going to have to know how to create beauty and comfort for others. Now, in 1925, Fields moved from Indiana to Boston, and he went to work for this man. He wanted to go to school, so he was going to school. It was called the New England Conservatory of Music, and he wanted to be an opera singer. But stuff was high, and by then he had gotten married. His wife was named Edna. So he met a man, and his name was Stratton, and he said, listen, I'll pay you to clean up, be a janitor, if you will, and I'll pay your school for you if you'll do that. So not everybody, liked that. He didn't want to be a janitor. He didn't want to be cleaning up after anybody. However, he needed the money, and he had bills, and he had a wife. So he had to do what he had to do. And his wife had a little girl. So he had a stepdaughter. So he went to work there at the White House in 1931. And he thought he was going to not like it at all. But it ended up, he did kind of like it. Not only did he like it, he was good at it. And with 1 year, he had already been moved up to the chief of butlers, and 12 people were underneath him: cooks, butlers, and other workers. He had to host events. He had to keep everything, nice and organized. He had to tell everybody what to do to prepare for dignitaries, visiting. And not only that, look at the grace of, God is graceful. And, we all can be, he was a janitor, or he was a butler. That's nothing of honor, but it is. Anybody who get up and go to work every day is honorable. And do you know, because he was honorable and went to work every day in this space, he got to sing every year during the holidays there at the White House. Now, imagine, he is singing in front of dignitaries. He is singing in front of everyday people, something that he was trying to go to school to do. Yet the Lord placed him here and was able to do it whenever they're at the during the holiday season. So I think, sometimes everybody's story is different, and we have to respect people for whatever it is they want to do. So we congratulate him, and we just wanted to honor him. Now, he wrote this book. He worked there till 1960, after which he retired. And Mr. Fields passed on March the 22nd, 1994, at 93 years old in Cambridge, Massachusetts. So I wanted to just honor this great man as an etiquette professional, and just a person who loves beauty. He was called the maitre d' of the White House. And I thought that it would be a great opportunity to present his story to you. And also, my grandmother was a maid, a domestic worker, and she also sold clothes. And because of that, we were placed in some had great opportunities. So sometimes being, if you yourself don't have it, being around the proximity of it can help you. We just have to have the right attitude, just like Mr. Alonzo Fields had. And that brother was making money, taking care of his family, which gave him great honor, especially during that time period, during the 1950s and 30s and all of that. So I want to thank you for joining me. I hope you all will be watching my new audio book, Hunter's Point, coming out in October the 10th, 2025 at 8 o'clock p.m. It's going to be right here on Royal Black and Elite. Now, you all keep on clicking down below so that you continue to learn. And I want to thank you for joining me for another great episode of Royal Black and Elite.